Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Adrian here for Digital Dojo. Today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on WWDC 2016. So let me preface this by saying I have been covering WWDC for many, many years now. It's crazy, like 6+ years. I have been doing my live streams. I've been doing these videos, these recaps, giving you my thoughts. And it's an event that's year by year has always changed. You know, sometimes it's filled with excitement, sometimes it's filled with disappointment. In my long, illustrious career of covering technology, as somebody who's run a content network like for a living, and being serious now, covering these events, it's hard because you know what to expect. You read the rumor mill, we report on these things, and that kind of kills some of the excitement for me as a tech journalist or a content creator. But this year there was a lot of surprising stuff. There was a lot of great stuff to see, and I really liked it because they really went back to the core values and something that we tend to forget as media or as consumers, that this is a developers conference. It's meant for the developers. It's not 100% meant for like the consumers in a sense. And what I mean by that is, of course, yes, we are the ones who are going to get the products in the end, but this isn't meant for like the new MacBook Pro. This isn't meant for the new Apple 5K display. Apple can do a whole separate event. They have enough clout and following where they could do that, and the media would show up as well for that, and there'd be a lot of buzz around that. This is meant to showcase the software and what's upcoming so that developers can prepare for it, and so that the consumers can get a small preview of what's upcoming. So in this case, tvOS is what they started off with. This isn't a major update to tvOS. And my thoughts around tvOS is I really love what they did in the most recent Apple TV, and in tvOS in general. It's one of my favorite Apple products as of right now. And they really kind of just built on that. They added smarter and faster Siri access. Siri can now know, for example, you can say, show me movies about hiking, show me movies about driving, show me movies about sports or what have you, and it will know what that means. It'll know to show you related topics and movies based on whether it's iTunes, Netflix, whatever app that you want to go through. You can search within apps. You can tell search YouTube for Charlie Bit My Finger, and that'll show up. Single sign-on, a thing for me that was really important coming to the States. And by the way, if you didn't know that, I am in San Francisco now, so this is the first time I get to cover it in San Francisco. When I have to enter my cable provider's logins, I have to do it for multiple apps. Single sign-on changes that you enter it once, and then I'll sign you in across all of the apps here. Apple TV now has a dark interface. I'm really excited about that personally, and a lot of cool other app updates, as well as Apple TV remote app finally has been brought back. Not even new. They took it away with the new Apple TV. They're finally bringing it back. I think it's just a way to force you to use that Siri remote. WatchOS. Now, before I even dive into this, funny WWDC story. This WWDC, as always, it's always a crazy day, crazy 24 hours because I'm covering it, I'm uploading, I'm writing posts. This year, I had to rush to get the C920 camera to make the live stream, and I literally got it 2 minutes before the stream started. I had my iPhone still on the same day, so I couldn't finish my coverage. I couldn't even, I was occupied with this. Found it the same night. Found my iPhone. I found the culprit by pinging them with my Apple Watch when it became in vicinity, because it connected via Bluetooth. Based off the pin with the Apple Watch, I found it. So that's a story for another video though. But let's talk about that WatchOS. I'm a recent Apple Watch user, and I am a fan of it for certain reasons, and hate it for a lot of other reasons, and don't think it's quite up there yet as a smartwatch. But with WatchOS, the new one that's coming up, you get a much more improved performance, and that's really the biggest takeaway from this. You get much faster performance in terms of launching applications and switching between apps, which is a really great thing to see. And you get some customization options. Of course, it being a smartwatch, it has to be fresh, and it has to be updated with that. You get new watch faces, a lot of cool new things. I really hope they eventually open that up to developers as well. I'd really like to see Apple do that. That way we can see watch faces available in the App Store and stuff like that. Activity sharing, another cool thing if you like that competitive edge. Wheelchair use for an accessibility feature is always great as well. A breathe app, because it reminds you to breathe rather than just reminding you to stand throughout the day, because breathing's important. But yeah, that's WatchOS. The SOS feature, another cool thing, definitely something to check out. It's one of those things where you don't know you need it until you obviously need it, and it's nice to have. Mac OS is next, and that is what it's called now, Mac OS. Dropping the X, dropping the 10. It is now just Mac OS going forward, and the official 2016 version is Mac OS Sierra. Now, this is not a major overhaul, but you are getting major features, and what I mean by that is it's not like a jump where we went from the name is evading me now, but when we went leopard to snow leopard, and then snow leopard into was that Snow Leopard into Yosemite, or is that? Yeah, and then you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, this jump is mainly focusing on Siri, and the cool thing about Siri on the Mac is it's much more smarter, it's much more enhanced. It has contextual search, so you can say, Siri, search for my files, search for files I worked on last week, search for files I worked on with Ken, and it knows to build off of your previous questions and kind of understand what you mean by that, because otherwise it would treat them as separate search queries. And that's the problem with Siri in the past, like on the iPhone. If you tell it to do something, the last command kind of overrides the previous command. And this is important because at a day and age where Alexa, hopefully I triggered some of your Amazon Echoes out there, and Google Home that are coming out, or are out, they're very smart, they're very unique, and they have their own thing to them, and they have their own technology behind them. And Siri has been kind of lacking in that area. So it's really great to see them integrating it across all of their platforms now, TV, watch, Mac OS, and iOS, and really upping its potential usage there. You get a lot of other cool stuff. You get Apple Pay for the web. That's a cool way to pay for services or whatever products through Apple Pay. Really easy and convenient as more and more providers pick that up. You can unlock your Mac now with your watch, which is something that's been there in the past, but it's through third-party apps. Universal Clipboard, finally. A Tab API being integrated across apps. And also, we're getting picture-in-picture, so just kind of cool, convenient little features and UI changes across macOS. But last but not least is iOS 10, and this is kind of the major thing that everybody, tends to focus on, being more and more we're, using our phones every day. And iOS 10 is getting a lot of crazy new stuff. They're calling it their biggest update ever until their next biggest update ever. But one of the main takeaways is you get an all new messages app. Think of it as like Snapchat reads Facebook Messenger. You get all these stickers and effects and invisible link and crazy quirky stuff. And as crazy as it is, it makes sense to me because nowadays texting is at its basic form text versus text, or like texting at its basic form is just a text conversation exchange. And you have to make that exciting. You have to make that different. Slack does it. Facebook Messenger does it, Snapchat does it. Everybody understands this in this current age. Like that's the big thing, whether it's for like millennials, young people, old people, whatever, it's the thing to do. And Apple's finally kind of getting on that boat. On top of that, they're opening messages and Siri up to developers so that developers can take advantage of that, which is a really, really cool thing to see Apple do. And one of my favorite takeaways from this event. New Maps app, new Home app for HomeKit, really cool smart home app type thing so you can control all your smart home devices. A News app and Music app have been redesigned, and you get new notification / lock screen user interface. I'm not a huge fan of those notification bubbles, to be honest, but maybe they'll grow on me. And a lot of other stuff under the hood that you'll notice as you kind of go through iOS 10. By the way, all of this will be coming out in fall. Public betas for macOS and iOS come out next month in July. Other than that, developers get the previews today. So if you're a developer, you can take advantage of those today. Go ahead and try this out, test them, get your apps ready and prepared, take advantage of a lot of new crazy features. And, there's a lot of stuff that Apple under the hood doesn't announce. Like they throw it on that slide that has a ton of like text that show like a lot of the cool features. And there's a lot of cool stuff coming on, read receipt stuff, tons of other stuff you can dig into and see what's coming up in iOS 10, macOS, etc. But yeah, it was cool to see Apple really kind of go out there and open up the walled garden just a little bit, open up messages, open up Siri. I think these are things more and more when we see Apple do this and support the developer community and in a sense make it better for us as consumers. It's a win-win. It allows them to compete better against companies like Google, like Amazon, etc., Samsung, whoever's out there doing awesome things right now. And at the same time, it helps their community. It helps their developers. It helps us as consumers, and it makes it for an overall better experience. So is it anything groundbreaking or earth-shattering? No, not really. Is there a lot of cool features that I've wanted forever, and it's like a finally thing, better late than never? Yes, there's a lot of cool stuff coming to iOS and macOS, watchOS, and tvOS. Nothing earth-shattering, but I don't think that's what this event is meant to be anymore. I think it's meant to just kind of really improve and introduce great things for the developer communities, and there's a lot of stuff in that technical sense that are going on. So I'm excited with the direction everything's going. Love to hear your guys' feedback and thoughts. Leave them down in the comments below. And as always, for more content and coverage, head over to digitaldojos.com. Thanks for watching.